Yo, what is up, everybody? It is Corey, the Jaginator Marco, and I'm back with Season 7, Episode 7, I think, of the Dodcast. Yeah, Episode 7 of the Dodcast. We got to recap Railroad 2. It was a fun week, for sure. Lots of fun matches. And then we got to predict Lennon, I think it is. Lennon? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, wait, you can't, because this isn't live. I'm also just ever so slightly stalling so that this frag of the week can finish downloading before it gets too far into this stuff. Solitude. Duh. Idiot. I'm an idiot. So that's right, we're recapping Railroad 2, predicting Solitude. The new Solitude, which there was something else I had to let people know about in there. Where is it? Okay. Do a quick Solitude run through on the Dodcast. Quick two-man cast. All right. So yeah, there was further changes made. Hold on. I need to switch my little overlay. Which one is it? This? Yeah, there we go. See, so we tightened things up a little bit with the overlay on my Streamlabs. So now the chat will be able to be on the screen when I upload VODs to YouTube. That's the chat box over there. Score, sub thing, donations, event list, stupid face. And I don't know what's down there. What is that? What is that? Check about section. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Is this downloading? Yes, it is. All right. Well, I'll go do the Solitude thing after the frag of the week, because first we gotta watch this frag of the week. Oh, actually, this is all fucked up here, too. My camera was in a really fucked up spot over there. I don't know why it was way over the left, but there we go. Now, let's get into the FOTW. Where's my downloads folder? There we go. There we go. Oh, shit. Get back to that. And let's see what we got here, thanks to the man, the myth, the legend, the war within. So, if you love me. Are we really... We got a song from... Yeah. When is this from? Like, 2003, maybe? 4, 5? Hey, we caught this clip on the cast. Yeah. That was a sick clip. Did we catch this one? Wait, what? Oh, okay. No, I don't think we caught this one. This might be one of the few ones of Baron that we didn't catch. Yeah, no. I don't remember any of this. We got every other clip of Baron in the cast, though. I was gonna use this song in my own movie at one point, and then I was like, it's been too long. It's a good movie song. I say, take me out. Oh, Chris. Oh, yeah, Chris is gonna have some shit here. I did not see this one. Whoa! Okay. Jesus. Take me out. I always liked STGing Axis Side Train. Take me out. I think we caught this one, right? Yeah, I think so. We'll be leaving here Raven. Oh. For a second, I thought I was hearing myself. The Brom Bomb. Cheater. Cheater, Adam. I say, don't you know? Nice. Take me out. Oh yeah, here's my man. Telling you, SQ plays like me. Watch him play. Telling you. Take me out. Oh yeah, this too, yeah. And who stole that kill up there? That could have been a really fast 4K too. I think it was Corey Price. Corey, you son of a bitch. Okay, so that was a really fun frag of the week. Franz Ferdinand. Again, a song that, like, for years has been on the radar for a good DoD movie song. Alright, so. Where are we here? Let's check out the new Solitude. What the fuck is the name of the map? Solitude. I honestly have no idea. Is it 69A? Well, I mean, as we can see here, with the layout is pretty much the same. Nade removal, church cap, quick 2-man cap, 4 flags. So, is this the right one? Doesn't seem to be. What? So which fucking one is it? Solitude 2. What? Maybe it's not been put out yet? Am I tripping? This doesn't make sense. I guess I should have double checked. I just assumed. This shit made me laugh so fucking hard. Where is it? Solitude Test 4. How do I not have this? I fucking played it. Huh. 416, right? What? Bruh. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Tell me this one of these servers has it on right now. Solitude B2. That's not the correct one. Shit on my dick, man. I swear to God, I already played this version of the map. I swear to God. Let's see. Am I wrong? I mean, no, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Son of a bitch. I don't want to leak the Archon password, even though I think everyone's already got it. But I think if I go like this, hit my HLTV binds, and then go change level DoD Solitude 2 Test 4. There we go. Okay, no, I didn't have this version yet. Huh. Well, I take back everything I ever said. So there you go. This is gone. The hallway is gone. Sorry, Milo. I guess maybe Jared just showed me this map, so you can see the changes we got over here, right? Let's zoom around from the spawn side of things here. So, first of all, I don't know if anyone else has encountered this on the map, but the other day when we scrimmed against, like, it was CK, Chi, James, Drew. Who else was playing in that? Who else was playing in that? CK. Did I say CK? Yeah, I said CK. I got a screenshot. I want to know. I'm curious if they experienced the same thing. Nick was in there. That's right. Milo. Okay. So Axis got to double cap really fast. So keep that in mind because they were like here when I got to like here, and I had the furthest like left spawn. So, but at the same time, the allies get to the other side really fast. So this is different now. This is new. This way you don't have to fucking, hard clear any shit there. The barrels are gone now too. It's just softened up, You got these little things to take out the deeper angles. Now with this, you can kind of like clear things out piecemeal, which is nice. This has been, cleared out the deeper angle as well. Is there anything over here? Is this different? This looks different. Yeah, the box. Just for... Wait, what? Not enough players available, my asshole. I say, don't you know? You say you don't know. Really? Really, dog? We're taking this long for me to fucking... There we go. No, I can't even. So I'm guessing you gotta have, like, the farthest right spawn for that to matter. Double cap one. There you go. Drop on it like that, boys. Drop on it like that. Now here's another touch, right? This. It's a two-man. No longer a single extendo cap. However, it's quick. It's quicker than Lennon long. It's really quick. It's very little chance to break it. Unless, like, you really flawlessly timed it. And we have, so this area here, right? First of all, here's what you want to do. You want to go like this. You want to hit a shot in midair, right? Like that. So this is all centered now, right? The shrubbery is gone, so you can't just sit here and, like, snipe like this. But you do have the option to go there. I don't think that you can see from window to the double cap, though. There's an angle gone out of here. No, you can't see through it. I don't even think you can wall through this either. Maybe you can, but I highly doubt it. No shot. Never mind, no shot. Right? Okay, now. For a second, I was like... So yeah. Double cap, cleaned up. Well, church cap. There's some steep angles removed. You got this area here now. Where you can just kind of like, boom. Is this... What did I just do? Is this part of the cap? No. This is part of the cap. This isn't. This is. This isn't. This is. Is this? This is. You can see the loft, okay. This is. Yeah. There you go. So it's a lot more streamlined over there. Is there anything weird over here? I don't think so. There's your answer. I don't think you can wall through the floor. I'm pretty sure... Oh, wait a second. Hold up. Hold up. Why am I not seeing bullet holes? Okay, there's a bullet hole. It's just... looks weird. Come on. Let's find out. No. So yeah, I'm pretty sure when Kevin shot someone through the floor was like right here. Was it a guy that was like prone under here? Hold up. Hold the fuck up. Where is it? Right around here, right?
right here, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's a guy in church. That explains why people for years thought you could shoot through this floor, but it was just... It all happened so fast. I thought so. I was pretty sure it was like this. Okay, so that explains that. So no, you cannot wall through the floor of church. But that's why people thought that. This looks a little different. Is it different? It seems to be a little different, at least. I don't think anything over there. Is there anything I was missing? Nade removal. Nade removal. What was a nade removal? I mean, there was obviously nades removed. You know, you can't nade over the top of that. You can't nade over the top of anything, which is not supposed to be able to happen, by the way. I know we've all gotten really used to it, but those are actually not intended to be there at all. It's just that in the early days of DoD, absolutely no one was thinking about nading over the top of fucking roofs and ceilings. It was an unintended consequence of people getting better and smarter at this game. So, I will tell you though, I played a scrim on, was it this version? Let's find out. I don't think so. I feel like there were still people in, in Side Hall during this. Like, I feel like I remember encountering someone in a Side Hall. Right? Show me the Side Hall. Show me the Side Hall. Show me the Side Hall. Yeah, Side Halls are. So it's not the exact version. But it was still pretty nady, right? Like, don't feel like... It's definitely less nady. Alright? I'll tell you that much. It's less nady, but... It was less nady by probably, like, 10%. Like, I checked the demo analyzer. I compared it to other old Solitude games. It's pretty comparable. It's just that you're not getting naded in ways that are quite so stupid. You know, like you're not having a nade just drop over the top of a fucking wall into your lap to break the double cap by miracle. You're not having nades fly over roofs off a spawn or sooner. You know, like, it's just a little more reasonable for the way the game was intended to be played. So yeah. Which, to be honest, like, I believe most maps should be doing the same. Harrington, you should not be able to nade over the entire map to break mid. There's a reason Harrington has become such a clusterfuck shit show. And it's because if you're a good player, you can just, whatever your route is, basically, you can be affecting mid at all times. By throwing a nade over the entire map. Which I think is insane. You know, if I'm changing Harrington, I'm at least removing a lot of those nades. You know, you can either... Here's what you should be able to do. Either you can nade from both sides, like the bridge area, the Allied one, and the Axis Mountain, or you can nade over long. Because, right, if you think about it, Allied side long, you spawn, you drop off plateau, you can go upper connector, and you can nade to break mid. If you're a long player on Axis, you can't really stay so focused on your route and also affect mid. Like, if you can't nade over that wall. You're basically having to go completely into the route of mid where you're going to die. So, it would make sense to keep that. Really, if I'm changing Harrington, I think the most effective change you can make is to not have 55 nades be able to be thrown from the double door spawn on allies. I think that's probably the craziest thing about Harrington is that you can spawn, you can be in spawn, you don't have to peek, you don't have to leave spawn, you can just break mid over and over and over again. To be honest though, like, you know, little changes like that on Harrington, little change, you know, like fixing textures and stuff like that. The maps like Solitude, I'm all for big sweeping structural changes, you know, like that's fine because Solitude unless you were going long, right? Which, hey, I'm willing to admit that as somebody who got to go long whenever I rifled for years. I liked Solitude, but the second that you have to go double cap, and I'm not saying in a 12 man, I'm not saying in a 12 man where there might be a mismatch on that route. I'm saying in a match where it's even remotely evenly matched, if you have to go double cap, you will hate your life. I promise you. Uh, but you got the maps that we all play and love, and they're getting updated in mostly cosmetic ways. That's fine. I don't think there should be any huge gameplay overhauls. Like we shouldn't be opening up Anzio and building tunnels from fucking one side of the map to the other now. Like these maps have been continuously played for 20 something years because they work, and updating them cosmetically is fine, in my opinion, right? Little fixes to like glitchy things. And then the ones, I mean, Saints, basically the maps that were always being rotated in and out, in and out, in and out. Oh shit, I didn't think. Okay, we're good. For a second, I was like, did I mute this? The maps that are always going like one season they're in, if you think back to Cal, TPG, Sivo, whatever, the maps that were not ever there every single season are the ones that, I am okay with seeing people really get crazy with. But the ones that have been consistently played for years and years and years because they work, we should just, like very minimal, again, cosmetic, like Lenin. When you think about the changes that were made to Lenin, was there anything, like the spawn being fixed on Axis? And what did that do for Lenin? It made it a much more playable map for the Axis team. Again, in an evenly matched game. Obviously, if the other team is just way better than you are, like, you're going to get smoked on your Axis side, whether your spawn has fucking one exit or 55. But, things like that make sense to me. But I just, with the more of these maps getting updated, and then I start hearing people talking about wanting to, like, make crazy changes on every map, and guys, it's just, that's not going to make this DoD2, like DoD2 will be made or not, but taking the few maps we have that like work for competitive play time after time and making big sweeping gameplay changes on them is not the answer ever. I know a lot of people think that will like make the game feel new and improved, but what that would actually do is then remove one thing about the game that works. And then if you do that to another map and another map and another map, and then what do you got? You got a bunch of maps that are not all that competitively viable. Like just think about it a little bit. Think about it a little bit. Changing, and hey, everybody's got their favorite maps and maps that they like more than everybody else. Jules loves Northbound, Don't ask me why. But there's a lot of maps that were tried out many times over the years, and they just never really panned out, right? And then there are the ones that worked, and there are the maps that were a little bit off that are being worked on and stuff like that. I think we're not that far off from having like a really solid, 8 to 10 maps with just a little bit of work on certain ones, instead of it being like 5. Like Saints has become way more playable than it was on the original version, and then even on the season 5 version, where it was just like who can cap out 10 or more times on allies. Like that map is very even and competitive now. Whether you like to play it or not, it's kind of like another Donner or Thunder map where there's a big central double cap and people are fighting for it a lot. Just way more exciting and closer. Armory, obviously, which is really just an updated version of Murderette. Like these things can work out, but, and again, I don't like Armory, and I was there to make that map like almost every step of the way. So, but I can't deny that it's a good map when it comes to the competitive play and being even pretty much across the board and everything. Um, what is there another one that I'm forgetting? No, I think those are the main ones that like have now been played multiple. At least the ones that have been played this season now, and then Solitude, which is actively being worked on for better or worse. Uh, but we'll see what happens with that. I mean, we scrimmed it. It's very chaotic. I think the new underpass side, getting rid of the side hull will help. Getting rid of some of the more fucked up campy angles over there, centering things. I think it streamlines that area. The old double cap, which is a double cap again, it's just like a Lennon long double cap. Um, it's quick. I meant to pull up the demo and show you guys exactly how quick it was because I don't have a second person to go into a server and cap the flag with me. But it's quick. It's quicker than Lennon long, I assure you. Um, I'll be curious to see what people want to do strat wise. And the scrim that we played against that, I mean, that was a really good pug, obviously. We were sending 2 to the old double cap. No, we were sending 3. It was a 3-3 split. I think, was it Bees that was talking about sending 2 there still? Like having 3 in underpass, 1 in midhouse, 2 on the old double cap. But to be honest, I don't know. I think at that point you could end up with guys consistently flanking you because then if the other team decides they're sending a third guy to that side of the map, your work is cut out for you. So I don't know. We'll see. I think maybe one of the church side guys just needs to go mid house more often or be aware of it. Like we scrimmed against G Skill on it, and I'm pretty sure like they had I think it was Milo just kind of like floating back and forth. How long have I been talking about this? Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up, dude. Holy shit. All right. All right. That's going to have to be enough. That's going to have to be enough. God damn. This is already way too long of an episode. Where are we here? That's Hallie. Railroad. Okay, first of all, we got a Hallie recap here, all right? So, Volvo versus Lobsters. Volvo takes the cake 383 to 171. This is a very weird game, and you can tell by the screenshots just how weird this game was here. So, 141 to 141 are the kills, right? Volvo wins the half 233 to 98, and I can tell you, like, it's not like Lobsters was pretty evenly fighting with them the majority of the half, but it seemed like if Volvo got the double cap and the hotel flag, they capped out. It's just very weird, like the way the cap outs were happening for Volvo. It wasn't like they were grinding away, for minutes or like they ninja capped. It was just like, well, they got both flags, so they capped out. Like it was crazy how quickly they were able to turn these into full caps. So Volvo wins the first half by 135. On the Lobster side, CK 31, Justin 28, Corey 25 ringing here, 23 for Matt, 20 for Nick, 14 for Ian. On the Volvo side, of course, Crawd 29 kills on the bar, Manor with 26, so the bars were putting in work there. Darren with 26 on the sniper, Paul 24 on a Garand, Scotty and Kingyo 18 apiece on the other Garands. And then in the second half, Volvo on Axis side wins by 87. Kills were really close again. This side, what happened on this side? This was a while ago now. It was a week ago. All of this was a week ago, basically. I think Volvo capped out. Oh, yeah, they capped out again with, like, multiple guys alive on the Lobster side. Definitely at least once. It may have been twice. But I definitely remember one cap where it was like, oh, and, like, Lobsters might be able to go for bridge now. Oh, wait, they just got capped on. I don't know. It was like there was communication breakdown maybe going on with Lobsters. These things happen. On the Lobsters side, Justin with 32, Corey with 30, Matt with 28, Ian with 26, 20 for Nick, and 19 for Corey. And then on the Volvo side, Paul with 34. He was getting movie clips left and right, going the hotel side with the car, which, I've never gone that route, but it looks fun. to be able to go car that side. There's a lot of fun angles to be able to hold, and you can still obviously have impact on bridge. 29 for Crowd, of course. You know, you're going to get your 30 kills a half from Crowd. 27 from Manor. 22 apiece for Kingyo and Nicholson. That I forget someone. 18 for Scotty. And Volvo with a big W. You know, the season of gold has been an interesting one, to say the least. Everybody kind of beats everybody. Which, you guys, I know people think that like I am just making shit up, but like if I'm telling everybody coming into the season that I think this is gonna be a pretty interesting season of gold, I'm not blowing smoke up your asses. You know, I mean, we already saw a spoiler here of another game that happened this week. Like, I'm not just pulling this shit out of my ass. Like, that's genuinely what I think. I really do think that a lot of teams are very capable of beating each other in cold, in upper this season. I definitely don't think it's a two-team race, and I think there's a lot of maps that all three of the top three teams can lose to any of the other teams on the right day pretty easily, to be honest. You know, this is not a T3 Thunder or NSA Icy Hot season. You know, it's just not. I'm sorry. Like, obviously, G-Skill and TMC, on paper, they're like, you would think, well, those teams are unbeatable, but they're not. I promise you that. You know, maybe G-Skill a little more than TMC right now, but I play for TMC. I can assure you there are more than enough problems with the way that we play the game that anybody is capable of beating TMC, and we've already seen that Over can beat G-Skill, and I can assure you that on the right map, there are at least two other teams that can beat G-Skill as well. You know, like, it's this... I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on the, like, this is, you know, these two teams are just so much better than everybody else. I will say if I believe that, I promise you. I'm not here to blow smoke up anyone's ass. You know, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about things. All right, so, RAILROAD2, we had a very fun match of the week. One that I had expected would be two undefeated teams going up against each other a few weeks ago, but obviously expired. Ended up losing their O just before this game, and then they came oh so close to taking Easy Company's O in the end. This was a crazy, crazy game on RAILROAD2. Easy Company wins 184 to 168, a 16-point win. It could have gone either way the whole way through, to be honest. It was such a fun game. You know, could be a finals preview, to be honest. I've said all season that I think expired. Probably. I mean, I try not to say this is definitely going to be the two teams in the finals. I think those teams will definitely make it to the semifinals, though. So, first half, Allied side for Easy Company. Expired actually outfragged them. There was some... Here's the thing. I think Expired wins this game, if just not for some lapses on this half. Because there was multiple times where they, like, either team wiped and didn't go for mid, or they had like 5 down. The only guy was like the train guy who was like nowhere near. And again, people in mid, but they're like running away from the cap or just not getting on it. I know you can't be sure that you team wiped, right? Like, you can kind of have a general idea, but you don't know what the respawn timer is. But I think Expired just got a little too worried at times, where they could have definitely capped mid, and because they team wiped, capped out, and then they win this game by 25 points or whatever. And then on the other occasions, Easy Company got miraculous breaks as well. There was lag caps going. You know, lag caps, to be clear for everybody, if you think a lag cap has to do with ping, it doesn't. It's just the fucking game. The lag caps happen on LAN. It's just the game. The game doesn't know how to react to, like, the flag is about to go off and then a break comes, you know? Like, it just has that little bit of delay in the netcode of the game where it still goes through. That happened plenty. I mean, on RAILROAD2, I feel like it's pretty common to see that, because it's not as easy to time your break coming out of spawn. You have a little bit further to go. You just get it off. That happened multiple times in our game, too, for both teams. So, 141 to 34 for Easy Company. On Expired, Budagas had a monster Axis side. He actually was in the Allied loft numerous times, which I found to be very impressive. to be an Axis sniper sniping from the Allied loft numerous times. You don't see that happen a lot. Of course, SQ continued to be one of the absolute best players in this division. 39 kills on the car there. Pizza Hut with 26, Fincher 24, Raven 20, Nitrox 19 going train. And then on the Easy Co side, of course, the #1 player in lower this season, Die Life, 38 kills again. I think he ends up going like, what was it, like 80 something and 70 something? Like just a chaos game for Matt. 34 for Stark, 32 for Kevin, 30 for Quarter, 18 for Laura, 17 for Zamp. And then, yeah, there it is. So you can see here, like, very similar scores, right? 141 to 34, 134 to 43. Like, so fucking close here. Expired. Now, here's the big difference, right? Expired outfrags them on their Axis side, and then on their Allied side, they outfrag them by 44. So really, like, it's just this half, you'd look at this and think, like, this should have probably been closer than it was. Whereas this half, that's kind of like what you expect to see score-wise out of a half like that. So, for Expired, again, SQ, 41 kills. Is that 39 first half, too? Yeah, that's 80 kills, again, for SQ. Just been absolutely incredible this season. He carbarred this game, and he got 80 kills. Like, I'm a guy who generally doesn't vouch for car barring very often. There's only been a few players who, like, I really trust to do what you need to do with a car bar. I think more often than not, it's hurting the team in other areas to the point where, like, it's almost a net loss. But if you got a guy who can get the value out of it on certain maps, this being one of them, where you can bar apartments, right? You can keep your route, and then the person who would have been barring or carring goes train. It's definitely a map where it makes sense. 38 kills on Fincher with the other bars. That's 79 kills out of your apartments team. That's the kind of, you need that most of the time on RAILROAD2 if you really want to be winning halves by like this much. 31 for Raven, a great half on the Garand there. 28 for Pizza. 25 for Budagas. 24 for Nitrox. Just a really well-evened attack here across the board. I mean, that's a really, really impressive half from Expired there. On the Easy Company side, of course, Matt's still going to get his. So what did he have? 39 and 38. So he went 77 and 70. That's like a kind of score only Matt can put up. Matt and maybe like CK. That's crazy. But 39 kills again. He keeps his average basically right where it was. His deaths per half is probably going up, but his kills remain at 77. 25 for Laura. 23 for both Kevin and Kevin, the Stark and Stealth combo. 22 for Quarter and 11 for Zamp. And yeah, Easy Company, they get the win. Most importantly, right? Above all else, Easy Company get the dub. They remain undefeated. They are the clear-cut favorites in this division. And yeah, I don't think they have like any of the other really scary teams to play, do they? Easy Company, yeah, no, they already played a DoD team, and they already played Car. Obviously, there is that one optional rank game, so that can always, you don't know who you're going to play until that schedule comes out. So they could end up playing against Expired or a DoD team or Car or whoever. All right, so moving on over. Where are we here? No-Go versus Best Buds. All right, so No-Go 196 to Best Buds 151. The big question for me heading into this is, was William Sick Blackwell going to play? And as you can see there, not only did he play, but he played with Best Buds. 51 and 20 on his Allied side. He is right now averaging 40 kills a half after 2 matches. It's very impressive stuff. Okay, so this half, 146 to 25 Allied side for No-Go. Kills were 187 to 116. I think War Within said he was lagging a lot all over the place in this first half. So what is that? Plus 71. Ooh, that's a rough half right there. That's a lot of fucking kills, man. They almost break 200. The fact that the score wasn't even worse, like actual scoreline-wise, is a testament to how well Best Buds was defending against full caps, which they did. That's just I can assure you that's what happened just from having casted the game. So for best buds, Hopper with 25, Bromley with 21, Epion and Chicago Legend with 19, 18 for Big Bird, 14 for War Within, and on no-go, 51 for William Sick Blackwell, 36 for Greg, 35 for Kush. Those are the bars right there. 71, again, exactly what you need out of your bars and apartments. 35 for Manga, 17 for T, 13 for Dedro. Nothing left for those guys to kill at that point. And then on to the second half. Best Buds came out flying, man. It looked like they were going to be able to pull this thing back. It really did. No-Go was able to hold on in the end. So it was 125 to 50, a 75-point victory there. The kills, however, in this half, only +2 in favor of No-Go on the harder side. They still did outfrag, though, on that harder side, which is probably why the score was closer, right? For Best Buds, he had 35 on the Brom Bomb. Adam Bromley continuing to be an absolute force to be reckoned with on the heavy this season. He's got a unique play style. It's really fun to watch. He's not afraid to prone around and hide in corners and do whatever it takes to win, or he will bar snipe you across the map, or he will run straight at you and spray down 3 of you, as we saw in that Frag of the Week. Frag of the Week kind of demonstrated all those things individually, to be fair. So yeah, Bromley continues to be excellent this season. Playing yet another new class. He can play it all, man, I'm telling you. Chicago Legend and War Within, the old school boys, both with 27, 22 for Big Bird, 21 for Hopper, 14 for Epion in Train, and then on No-Go side, Greg with 32 on an STG, of course. What a game for Greg there. What did he end up with? 68, I think. T with 32 on the Sniper on Axis, hitting a lot of really swift shots in that half. William with 29 on the car, 22 for Manga, 19 for Kush, 14 for Dedro in Train. No-Go gets the dub. I thought this would be the closest match of the week and lower. Did it end up being the closest match? No. Expired versus Easy Company was actually closer, which makes sense too. But No-Go and Best Buds had the same record. That was going to really help figure out what was going on with the seedings here. You can see Easy Company still number 1, a DoD team in second alone, passing Expired after they beat Expired. That was very key victory for a DoD team. And then No-Go at 3-3. Tied with Car. Have they played? No. Okay, they did play Car already. So when was that game? No-Go, Car. Okay, Car won that game. That was the Saints one. Got it. Okay. So yeah, Car actually has the tiebreaker there. So it actually goes Car, 1, 2, 3, Car in the 4th seed, No-Go in the 5th seed, Best Buds 6, Stunt 7, Wickets 8 is how the seedings now are shaken out. Obviously still time for movement. And speaking of a DoD team, I think this is the last game I got to cast this week. A DoD team 218 to Stunt 96. This game actually played, I would say, closer than that score really indicates, to be honest. Things, I think, kind of like got a little bit more out of hand towards the end of this game on Axis side for a DoD team, where Stunt was very capable of still winning this game for the first 10 minutes of the second half. You know, they were controlling their allied side. They were doing a good job of pressing. But once the DoD team started to bring things back around in their favor, it just kind of everything went their way. So, first half, you can see just 85 to 41, a 44-point win on the allied side for a DoD team. Stunt had to be feeling good about that. For Stunt, Vanaki, it says 31 and 20. It was actually 35 and 26, I believe. It'll be reflected in the stats. 32 for BLK. These cars on Stunt continue to be excellent, man. Excellent. 24 for Serio on the Sniper. 23 for Matt on a Heavy. 21 for Top on a Heavy. 20 for RPC Go and Train. On a DoD team side, Azilla with 36 on the Garand. How many times we talk about the rifles on this team? Azilla, Savage, and, well, Baron was sniping this game. This team has a lot of versatility, to be fair, right? Like, Baron can absolutely play anything. Azilla can absolutely play anything. Head Like a Hole can absolutely play anything. depending on the map, you could see a totally different lineup from this with these same players and them have the same kind of results easily. So yeah, 36 for Azilla, 33 for Baron sniping this week. Just he's got like a top 2 fragger performance on every gun, I think. Nick Kaler with 32 on the bar as well. Good to see E-Man in there. I was talking about him a lot during that game and how much he's always been good in Apartments on Railroad 2 and the movie I made for him, which had great frags and terrible editing, so it was like the 3rd movie I ever made. 32 for the bar on E-Man, 23 for Head Like a Hole on the other bar, 19 for Savage, 18 for Bo, and a 44-point lead after the first half. As I said, if you're stunt, you feel very good about that. They come out looking good on the Allied side, but eventually a DoD team fights back. They get a couple cap outs. They were absolutely backbreaking. The first cap was pretty backbreaking, but it was doable. The second cap was a life stealer. You're just dead at that point. Nothing you can do about it. So kills were +9 in favor of a DoD team here, and the score was 133 to 55. For stunt, we had BLK with, is that a 32? I honestly can't tell. I can't even check I'm going to say that's a 32. It could be a 30, though. 25 for Sirio, 25 for Matt, 24 for Top, 23 for Vanaki, and 15 for RPC in the train. And then Baron, 36 and 21 on the sniper. Jesus Christ. 35 for Azilla. He top frag, got the MVP. Another 28 for Nick. He ended up with 60 there, even on the heavies. 24 for Savage on the card. 19 for both. 13 for Sunshine. Savage, he's always, so far this season, been very good at like finding value in the games where he can't really just like push straight forward, right? It's not easy to do. Just look at a lot of the rifles out there who are like full on aggression. Whether they're 10 and 30 or 35 and 10, they don't give a fuck. They just keep pushing. Whereas Savage has a really well balanced game, which is something that it takes time to develop, but Savage already has it. Very impressive. It's the kind of thing that like I kind of pride myself in having on the car. The fact that like I don't need to be just playing like a psycho animal to be able to find value. You can't have everybody run out there and die 30 times. You can only get away with a couple people doing that. And Savage has been a really good complement to Azilla so far this season, and then Baron obviously as well. That rifle team is so strong. And then when you got E-Man in there and Head Like a Hole on the bar, the heavies, like it's just there's a lot of scary players on this DoD team. They are looking very, very sharp heading into the last couple of weeks of the season here and then the playoffs. So we'll see how that shit plays out. Up next, okay, so the score is up here. Carr versus the Wickets, 221 to 185. The Wickets fought valiantly in this game, man. So these are the actual screenshots. I think this is first half, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is first half. So the Wickets on their allied side win by 73 here. It was +8 in the frags for Carr. On the Wicked side, 34 for Pocho. We were talking a lot in the cast. Pocho being one of the most improved players in KTP this season. If you look at the stats, like from seasons past, it's not like he's like, quadrupled his kill totals or anything. Like, he might have been flying under the radar a little bit, but the eye test is most important here. He just looks great. He has looked great every cast that I've done for the Wickeds. Pocho has been looking excellent on the heavies, which is not an easy class to play ever. Pocho continues to look like one of the great heavies on the lower side here. 34 and 25 with the bar there. Jiraiya as well on the sniper. Whenever he's getting to snipe, he's played very, very well this season. He is 31 and 24. You had 23 for Lucho, 22 for Ryan, 19 for Zaps, 16 for Bullet. Both Lucho and Pocho had a lot of moments in this game on the heavies, though. Like, as a heavy combo, they've been playing really, really well. Obviously, no man for the Wickeds, no illusion for Carr. So both teams were kind of missing, like, one of their big, big fraggers here. So not really like a huge disadvantage coming out lineup-wise for either side because of that. And then on the car side, of course, Max with 42 kills, 42 and 21 on Axis side, Railroad 2 sniping. That's an insane half. As somebody who loves, like, maybe my favorite sniper half in a game that doesn't go, like, horribly wrong, of course, right? Because then it's my least favorite, where you're just, like, trapped in spawn or going four-way or whatever. When things are at least being played in an even manner, I love Axis side Railroad 2. And going 42 and 21 is fucking insane. Getting 40 kills on Axis side is just so hard to do, and we saw both Max and Budagas do that this week in lower. 32 kills for Insight. We were watching a lot of him during that game. He had like a 10 kill streak at one point. I think it was in the frag of the week as well. He was just all over the place and showing how good of a heavy he is, which, you know, this was the question mark for this car lineup really for the first half of the season, was like, who the fuck is going to heavy? They have Piff, who is a bona fide stud with the heavy, but they don't have anyone else who's really a heavy. Seeing Insight playing these last few weeks now with Car on the heavy, he looks like he's that guy, which is scary for the rest of the division, I'd say, because if you just slot Illusion in this lineup wherever, that's what, like another fucking 35 kills each half? Good luck. He had 32, though. 29 for Shreddies, again, another bona fide stud, this time with the rifle. 23 for Piff, 21 for Wua, 6 for Virus and Train, a 73-point lead, no, 73-point lead for the Wickeds there after the first half. But Car came out flying on their allied side, out-fragging by about 27, and they win the half by 109. 109. So, for the Wickeds here, Zaps, great half on the Car, 31 kills for him. Pocho, 28 and 24 with the STG, man. Like, again, I can't stress enough how difficult it is to go positive with about 30 kills, STGing apartments in a half that you've lost by 100 points. Like, that is very, very impressive. 25 for Lucho as well. You know, that heavy team looking good. 21 for Ryan, 16 for Jiraiya, and 14 for Bullet and Train. And on the Car side, Aim Tech with 37 and 20 on the sniper rifle. I mean, that's 79 kills, 79 and 41, nearly 2-1 there. Just a crazy game for him, showing what you can do on Railroad 2 with a sniper rifle. Piff, 36 and 19, great half on the bar, and his heavy partner Insight, 30 kills on the other bar. Shreddies with 30 kills on a Garand, 15 for Virus and Train, 14 for Wua. Big win for Car to stay on the winning track, which was important, man. I mean, props to the Wickeds, man. If you looked at the records, you would think like, oh, it's going to be a blowout, right? But the Wickeds looked excellent in that game, and that's missing Mand, right? You know, again, obviously Car was also missing Illusion, but you can't stress just how good the Wickeds looked in that game. They had a chance to win that game every step of the way. All right, so that did it for lower. On to the upper side. So I'll do the match of the week last. It was my match. I can kind of like speak to playing in the match itself, right? All right, so Lobsters versus Clinic. Lobsters, they take a tough loss earlier in the day on Halley to Volvo. They come out against Clinic and they look excellent. 313 to 154 here. Lobster with the dub. Clinic, who's Clinic missing here? Vic. No Vic for Clinic here, which is obviously a big loss. Vic is an excellent heavy, and in particular on his... Really, I mean, he's pretty goddamn good at Axis side of this map in Apartments too, to be fair. Schmaltz played outstandingly well, though, especially on Axis there. That 30 kills, it seemed like all of them were coming in multi-kills with the Unter. So, this half, 176 to 37, so that's a 139-point deficit. That's a good allied side, man. That's where you can feel pretty comfortable heading into your Axis half, with the kills only being plus 14, so Clinic was defending their asses off. All right, for Clinic, Debo with 31, of course, leading the way. I believe he started on... Did he start on a rifle or a heavy? He must have started on a heavy, yeah. So this would have been with the STG. Yeah, definitely with the STG. He was getting some crazy fucking heavy kills that we caught on the cast. So 31 for Debo on a heavy, 30 for Schmaltz on the other heavy, 28 for Sam and Train. That is a great Axis side and Train. To be honest, 28 kills on Axis side Train is a lot. I think he started off like fucking 9-0 or something, or 9-2. Until eventually Lobsters did make an adjustment on the fly, which was very smart. And it's something that we have done on Thunder as well, like against T3, where if Train was becoming a problem, like offensively, the other team was using it to their advantage, the sniper needs to just make option 1A is deal with Train. Train guy dies, sniper goes to connector, and makes it so that the guy coming out of Train has to hit a fucking ridiculous shot. Now, we saw Chris do it in the frag of the week with an STG and make it look easy, but it's not actually easy. And it's such a pain in the ass to deal with a sniper there that I actually, like, I felt bad for doing it to T3. Like, because you got to scope down a tiny sliver, and I was like, man, I feel like a dick just, like, sniping into Train from connector here over and over again. It just cancels out Train. Lobsters made that adjustment, and then Sam slowed down a lot. Because there's nothing you can do with that. There's really not, like, you're not going to hit that shot 9 times out of 10. Every once in a while, maybe you, like, pre-fire it, and the game works the way it should. It's just so hard to deal with that if a sniper really makes a point of continuously dropping into connector and just staring down the barrel of Train car. 25 for Scott, 20 for E07, and 17 for Tom. And then on the Lobster side, you had 33 for Ian. There you go, right? The sniper. I'm sure plenty of those kills were coming, when Defrag died, Ian drops off into connector. 31 for Justin. Of course, PB continues to be one of the best players in the game. CK with 30, same deal there. 26 for Modgers, 24 for Defrag, 21 for Nick Cad Walla Walla Bing Bong. And then on to the second half here. So 20-point victory for Lobsters here on the Axis side. It was one of those things where it's like, all right, this is allies now. Clinic might be able to fight back here. You would expect generally to win the allied side, but like eventually Lobsters broke through defending their last flags, right? Like Clinic gets mid, Clinic is holding on. They look like they're going to push for some cap outs. Lobsters breaks out eventually. It's just one of those things where like you're grinding away trying to cap out, and then eventually you just have to start sending more people there, It's tough to just keep fucking grinding away at a last flag and one guy sitting at sandbag just camping. And eventually Lobsters broke through and they got themselves a couple cap outs to match the couple cap outs that Clinic had in the half, and ended up, narrowly winning the half and obviously winning overall, plus 22 on the kills. On the Clinic side, it was 36 for Debo. He barred and then sniped. 32 for Tom, who sniped and then barred. So it's always kind of interesting when, like, you got two guys swap classes in the middle of the game and they end up the two top fraggers, right? Like, I feel like that's rare. Because usually you're swapping guns, it's because you're not feeling it on one gun, or the other guy isn't feeling it either. Like me and Tox on Armory against Bandits, I was like probably 1 in 10 with the sniper, and Jared was like 5 and 8 with the car. We swap, and then we both immediately are like fucking 10 times more useful. In this case, it was the two top fraggers swapping guns at one point, trying to get a little more push coming. 22 for E07, 21 for Sam, 19 for Scott, 17 for Schmaltzy, and on the Lobster side, Justin PB Simpson, 39 kills, almost breaking the 40 there. 36 and 19 for Ian. That's a crazy Axis half as well. 32 for CK, 23 for Defrag and Train, 21 for Matt, and 18 for Nick Cad Walla Walla Bing Bong. And again, a very big win for Lobsters there. You look at the standings, Clinic 3-3. They are in the 4th seed pretty solidly right now, but Lobsters with that dub now, like they get that one win here and they move up into the tie. They have the tiebreaker on Clinic. I'm not sure how the schedule looks. They play DoD Worldwide. So yeah, that's a big one. Okay, and then they already played Volvo. Who does Volvo play? Volvo plays G-Skill. Okay, so if Volvo win their game and Lobsters win their game, Volvo would be the 4 seed. If Volvo lose and Lobsters win, Lobsters would be the 4 seed. There's with a week left to play at that point. Then a bunch of shit can happen. Regardless, an important win because Clinic has been that 4 seed basically the whole time, right? So when you can get the tiebreaker advantage on them, one game back of them, there's a lot more ways you can move into that seed than there are ways to not. All right, Next one up, speak of the Devils, DoD Worldwide and Volvo. So it was 213 to 158 DoD Worldwide over Volvo here. That is what, 55-point differential. I know Tony was saying these screenshots are like didn't look as good as he wanted, but I think these are very legible. So first half, a 1-point lead for DoD Worldwide after their Axis side, plus 16 on the kills. For Volvo, Paul Kuhn, 35 kills there on the Grand. 27 for King. Oh, sorry, 28 for Crowd, of course. I don't know. I should have immediately just looked for Crowd. You know he's going to be right around 30 kills. Then 27 for King, 24 for Darren, 23 for Manor, 19 for Scotty, and then Corey Price dropping bombs here, man. I thought that I had a good shot to top frag in upper last week, after our game, and then somebody was like, well, Corey Price had 76 kills, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Corey? The fuck, man? I just want a top frag once, bro. 38 kills with the car, 31 for Kellen on the STG is a crazy half in apartments, 31 for Rafinha going 4-way, great half for him there. 28 for Soya, of course, continuing to be a god sniper. 23 for Tony, and then 21 and 18 for Caleb going train. We were watching a lot of the crazy plays that can be made from train with an unexperienced smart train player. Like, again, and this is going to be a theme on the upper side, is that people who say that like train car has no value and it's a shit route and you can't get kills there and you can't have value in train, I promise you that's not the case. You just need to adjust to whatever is going on. Like in my case, going up against Jizz in train, I knew that he would just be willing to like fight me straight up. So like I wasn't sitting there just like trying to camp and be clever. Like, I was just taking the fights. You bet on yourself at that point. If you know the other train player is just going to hide as far away as possible, then say fuck train. Let everyone know I'm not in train. Go 4-way. Go wherever else you want, and just make sure that everybody is aware of the fact, like, hey, the guy could push out a train. If you don't see, you need a death notice watch is the key here. You death notice watch. You stay aware of the other train guy without having to actively just sit outside a train, right? Because there are players who their train strat is just, I'm going to sit on my side of train and I'm not going to move no matter what. And odds are they're not going to push until they see, and to be honest, a lot of people don't watch the death notice that closely. They might not even push when they see you die, but you can be aware of that when you come off on respawn and just kind of double check your area, check for some ninjas, then move on to the next spot. Train, the route is not as flawed as people make it out to be. It's really as flawed as you choose to play it in the end. Certainly, Allied side is an easier side in train because there's less areas for them to get out to, right? Like, they can only be on one of two sides over here or in ticket or connector, or if it was a really long spawn, they could probably get all the way out to your loft, but like then they're just in your loft. They're in a small area that they can only escape through two very loud double doors. All right, and then on to the second half. DoD Worldwide on Allies here, almost breaking 200 kills, 192. You'd think that the half would be more of a blowout there, but no, because Volvo is a good fucking team. So it only ends up being a 54-point win on the Allied side there. Close overall in favor of DoD Worldwide. On the Volvo side, 31 for Paul, 27 for Manor, 26 for Darren, 24 for Kingyo, 22 for Crawd, and 21 for Scotty. And then, as I alluded to earlier, Corey Price with 38 kills, 76 in total. I think he might have top fragged in upper. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can check the stats, I guess. Do we have... they're not up yet. It looks like they're maybe being processed now. Hey, look, I actually got some good value out of that game. Nice. 1.3 KD. Am I the second in KD now? I am. Suck it, Jules. Ha! Sorry. I just wanted to see if the stats were up. So yeah, 38 for Corey Price. He definitely top frag, though. I off the top of my head, I don't remember anyone in upper breaking 76. 36 for Riv, though. A really just great game overall for Kellen. 35 for Soy on the sniper. Again, this guy is such a good fucking sniper. 28 and 20 for Caleb and Train. And 26 for Rafinha is the bottom frag with 26. That's insane. DoD Worldwide, get the dub. Then we have GSR versus G Skill. G Skill 305 to 77. That's obviously an extensive win there. G Skill were clicking, man. They were clicking in this game. So, first half, 179 to 25. So that's what, 150. You feel okay about that. It's not the end of the world after your Axis side. The problem is that G Skill played out of their minds on Axis 2, so then it just got worse. Okay, so 4. I know that GSR was planning on doing an interesting strat in this game. But to be honest, live in the cast, I forgot about it. So I don't know if they actually tried to do it or not, but I don't know. I'm sure Brandon will let me know at some point later on. Okay, so for G Skill, first for GSR, Craig gets 31 kills still, of course, because it's Jackson. 23 for Colby, 21 for the Bear, including an insane shot here. We didn't catch it from his POV. This is insane. I go for this shot all the time, and I never hit it. The fact that that hit, I can't even tell you how many times in any Railroad 2 scrim, if there's a guy on that area, I'm flying off the platform to try to kill him in midair. The Bear went and did it with a no-scope. So, 21 kills, call it 27 for that kill, right? 18 apiece for Blackhawk and Stamp, and 16 for Brandon. On the G-Skill side, you got 35 for Milo, 33 for Chuck, 33 for Taylor, who was rifling and playing out of his goddamn mind. Especially with the car. Like, I swear to God, when it was an actual, like, he's looking at somebody and shooting at them, I don't think he missed a shot. When it's, like, pre-firing, shooting at walls, there's misses there. But I think when it was, like, just shooting at another guy actively, I don't think he missed a car shot. 31 for Alex as well. 22 for Colin. 21 for Chris. And then in the second half, 126 to 52 for G-Skill, plus 29 in the kills. For GSR, you had 30 apiece for both Brandon and Jackson. Brandon keeps having really strong allied halves throughout the season here. 27 more for Jared there. 23 for Blackhawk. 23 for Cam. And then Colby is not in the screenshot. I don't remember what he ended up with. I think it was like 20-something. And then for G-Skill, 32 for Taylor. I believe he ended up the MVP. I'm pretty sure I gave his performance a little more value than Milo's in the end, but Milo was also dominating. You know, he ended up with 66, Taylor ended up with 65. I think I gave it to Taylor, but Milo was like all over the fucking map, man. He was just going around the world. Been around the world, yeah. Milo killing bitches. A little less so with the Unter, I think, but on Ally's side, I mean, there was a point where he like went out of train, went up, capped the 1, killed 2 guys at the 1, went back around 4-way, killed 2 guys from 4-way, went all the way around to sandbag spawn, killed 2 guys there, went up into apartments, killed 2 guys there, went back out to the 2, killed a couple guys there, went back in through 4-way, went in through A-Hall, killed a couple guys there, went back up to the 1. Like, it was just, he was doing the Iditarod. But yeah, I think I gave it to Taylor. I don't know. I could just check like this. MVP. Oh, it's not there anymore. God damn it. Unbelievable. Okay, so 32 for Taylor, 31 for Milo, 30 for Alex, 25 for Chris, 23 for Chuck, 21 for Colin and Train. G-Skill getting the dub, looking like a well-oiled machine on Railroad 2. I can tell you we scrimmed against them numerous times on Railroad 2. They are tough to play on that map. Even the individual skill of all of them, route for route, like it's a lot, man. It is overwhelming. All right, and then the match of the week, the big story. It's not that big of a story to me because, like, I've been talking about this for how long now? How good Over is. Over beats TMC by 7 points on Railroad 2. Another crazy Railroad 2 game. Another crazy Railroad 2 loss for Yagoon. That's second half. All right, so yeah, this is first half. First half here. So this is a very, very weird game. I don't know. I don't think anyone was casting it, so I'm guessing not many people got to really watch it. I think William was like streaming it in Discord for people, so there's probably at least a few people that were watching the game actively. But here's basically how this went, right? You look at the kills, plus 33, right? you would think, okay, well, TMC was like dominating this half, but we weren't. You do not want to come out with a 33 kill lead and only not even a 2 cap lead. So here's the thing. No one got mid up until the 11-minute mark. I almost think that the kills that I was getting in train were actually hurting us overall because it just like threw the rhythm of the whole map off. Because I'm running through train over and over again, and I'm just kind of like pushing, right? I'm not even. It gets to the point where I'm sure they were very aware that like I was just going to push train, and I'm not going to be waiting, and I'm not going to like fuck around and get ninja-y. Like I was just running through train. So like most of the time throughout this half, I was encountering both Jizzy and Kum Kum over there. So like you take Kum Kum and he's coming over to train a lot of the time. So now there's not really anyone in 4-way, right? So now the rhythm of when you can cap on mid. This is just how I'm thinking about this and why maybe mid wasn't capped. I don't know because there's no HLTV, which is a shame. I wish we would have been able to just play on the Thunder server so that the HLTVs could be recorded. But speculating just maybe the way in my head, looking at my demo and stuff, and like looking at it with wall hacks on in my demo and trying to see what was going on. Because there was like a lot of time in the first 9 minutes here where like I was out of train, I was at the one, I had the one, I'm in 4-way, like I'm fucking about getting a kill here and there. And I'm thinking like we should be getting mid to the extent where like I don't even realize that we didn't get mid. I just kind of like am worrying about my route and spawn timing and stuff, and then like later realize like, oh my god, we didn't get mid and they didn't get mid either. So what the hell's going on? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what was happening. Chi said the same thing. Like he didn't really know what the hell was going on. I think this was just a super weird game all around in some way. And with no HLTVs, I'll never be able to tell you exactly what it was that was happening. It could have been that over was just like, maybe pushing other routes. Like maybe they were getting behind apartments, or maybe they were pushing out underpass, or maybe like another guy got out 4-way and got up into ticket, things like that. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But even though we were controlling pace of play and the map, we didn't get mid for nearly 10 minutes of the first half. So by the time we do get mid, we do eventually end up getting a cap out. And then later on in the half, they get mid for a little bit. They get us back to the second flag as our last flag. We break out, we get mid, we start pushing again. We don't get another cap out, but I don't know. It's a very, very weird half there. To see neither team get mid for the first almost 10 minutes of the half. And on top of that, it's not like, like we were controlling play for sure. So yeah, I don't know. It was a very weird game, but on the TMC side, I was 42-19, going train. Just going to specify that in train. Train is not the problem. I don't know how many years I've been saying this. Train has, you go back to the old Thunder days, me and Tox double train. Like, we didn't have a dedicated train and ticket player. It was based on situation and feel which one of me and Tox were going train at any given point in time. Train is an offensive tool. Same thing on Axis with me and Ryan. I'd be carring 4-way. Ryan would be going train. Depending on the spawn, like I might just go take the car and train, pick the guy, get out to the 2, force them to deal with me. Now, it's harder to do that shit on Axis side. There's no doubt Axis side train is way harder than Allied side, but again, train is not the problem. It's the way people choose to play train, and then just being aware of what the other train guy is doing and how you can try to exploit that. Sean with 32, Garaning ticket. Devin, 26, Garaning long. Mitch with 25 with a barred apartments. Jesse with 22 barring apartments. And then Jules, 13 and 12 on the sniper. Again, I guess it was just a really weird half. People have been asking me if Jules disconnected. I don't think so. I think it was just a really weird half. Like I said, I don't know, man. I don't think Jules even knows. Jules was like, I didn't see anyone to kill half the fucking game. So, I don't know. And then on the overside, you had 26 apiece for Chi, Nightmare, and Kum Kum. 18 for Caffrey, 17 for SC, 14 for Jizzy. We win the half by only 76, and you're not feeling good after that half. I can assure you, we were not feeling all that confident with only a 76-point lead for the way the half went. Second half, Over end up winning this game by a ninja cap with, I think it was like 4 minutes left. Um, at some point, she got out long, got into Ashtray, and he said he was there for about a minute and a half. Uh, so yeah, that ninja cap ends up being the winner. After that point, we were super close to still winning. So eventually, off of like, a couple initials go off without anyone getting mid. At one point, I kill 5 people in mid and apartments, and then I run back from White Steps. Cat mid with Sean. We get mid. They break it. Well, not break it. They kill us right after. They hop on mid. Jesse throws a double nade break. They had 3 guys on it. Double nade though. So it gets the break, but it gets the break, and then the lag cap continues on forward. So if we had got that mid cap, we actually had a guy at the 2 and at the 1. It was a cap out, so maybe we win if not for that the lag cap. But actually, no, we didn't have a guy at the 2 and at the 1. I think we had a guy at one of the 2. It was later on where we had a guy at the 2 and at the 1. We just needed to get mid, and Kum was just like standing in mid alone and killed both me and Jules, who were coming from apartments to try to go cap mid. So that was the one where it was like, if we had gotten mid there, we would have capped out. I think it was with like 30 seconds left or something. Over just played excellent, man, I'm telling you. So for TMC, 31 kills for Sean, car and 4-way, 30 kills for me, car and apartments, 27 for Jesse, Untering apartments, 24 for Jules sniping, 23 for Devin stossing long, 21 for Mitch having to go train car. We swapped stuff all over the place. So we had originally Devin was going train both halves. I was going long allies, apartments axis, and Jesse was going long. Then we kind of swapped things around in the scrim right before against expired. But Devin thought that he was supposed to be going apartments. So Devin was just going apartments for a whole scrim. Then he's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be going apartments. So then he's going long in the match. So yeah, just like a lot of funny little things happening for the TMC side. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can look at a team on paper all you want. There's nothing all-star about our team. We got a lot of problems just like figuring out how to play DoD with one another. You can't look at Elephant. If anyone was around in 2005, you saw the Elephant team get made, and you were like, that's the team that's going to win everything. And then they even led you to believe that further with the way their first Cal season went. They go to the finals, they lose to Trademark, that gets trademarked, the Complexity sponsorship, but you're like, hey, that was their first 4 matches together. They're an all-star team. Well, they bombed out at CPL, and they died soon thereafter. Because you can't just paste an all-star team together. You got to figure out how to play with one another too, and there's a lot of growing pains when it comes to that, So, we're figuring it out still, I assure you. I'm sure teams that play us in scrims can attest to that too. We're figuring it out. There's a lot of moving pieces and trying to figure out where everyone fits in with one another and how to play off one another. There's a big difference between, I'm playing with Thunder, I'm playing with 5 guys that I've played thousands of games with. I know what they're going to do before they do it. I can preemptively go rotate and cover her out because I know Toxinator is going to rage push it. Or I know Ryan Emo is going to be ninja'd somewhere, now I'm playing with guys who I haven't really played that much with before. We're all figuring it out. And hopefully we will come playoff time, but you really just don't know. You really just don't know. Obviously a lot of good players. Hopefully eventually we'll get there. But on the over side, Nightmare, 31-20, of course, the man is just a stud. 30 kills for SC on the bar and apartments. He's owned me more than a few times. 24 for Caffrey on the other bar. 23 for Cheek, a Randing Long. 21 for Jizzy going train. 22 for Kum in ticket. 21 for Jizzy in train. And over, get the dub. They have the last 2 weeks taking the scalps of G-Skill and TMC and just catapulting themselves. Why is my computer frozen right now? I can't move. Now it's frozen again. Are you serious? It unfroze and then it refroze. Holy fuck. Catapulting themselves into first place. They have the tiebreaker over G-Skill, obviously. Point differentials in their favor. We actually have the highest point differential, which is weird. But yeah, first place now for over. It's a beautiful thing for me to see, guys. I gotta tell you, I've been saying it for how many fucking seasons. How many seasons have I been talking about how good and unlucky over is? I mean, if you think back to 2022, I know a lot of people might forget because of the way things had ended up going, but over was the other team that everybody was worried about in KTP season 1. T3 kind of like came about later. People knew T3 was going to be good, but they were seen as like a pug, whereas over were a bunch of guys that have played together a lot. We scrimmed against over so much as Thunder. And I can tell you that they probably win about half of those scrims. So to me, it was always clear just how good over is. Last season was maybe the most unlucky season anyone has had in KTP, period. 2 overtime games in the history of KTP. 2. Over was in both of them, and they lost both of them. You know how unlucky that is? That those games even went to overtime? It's insane. That record was so deceiving on over last season. And in the playoffs, like they, to be honest, were way closer to beating us in the first round than ICL was to beating us in the finals. Like they are a very scary team, especially when it comes to a best of 3 series, because they're going to be able to ban out the maps that they don't feel as comfortable on. And you're going to have to play them on like Lennon, Anzio, and Harrington. They are insane on. And you're going to have to play them on probably 2 of those, if not all 3, because like, why wouldn't you want to play those maps? So be scared of over, because if they continue to have their best lineups, that's the other thing with over that's unlucky, is they don't always have their best sixes out there. Like guys have lives, they can't play all the time. That's really where you could find an opening against over, if they're missing a couple of their studs. Because if they have their best 6, it doesn't matter what map it is, you have your work cut out for you, big time. And I don't expect that they look like a well-oiled machine. I feel like with the Nightmare / Nick on Sniper, and then getting Chi in there as well on a rifle, I feel like that has really helped balance things out with their playstyle. You know, really the team has kind of like steadily continued to try to upgrade. Like you get SC in there a couple seasons ago, so now you have SC and Caffrey heavying together consistently, right? And they are one of the best heavy teams in the game. That right there gives some stabilization. And then, Nightmare joining the team, what was it, last season? And I think Nick might have been 2 seasons ago. Obviously, neither of them have played consistently on over, but odds are you're going to have one of the 2, the 2 best snipers in the game. So boom, again, helps to balance out the play style a little bit as well. And yeah, they just at getting Chi in there this season again, just a stud player and a guy who has a more balanced play style approach to the game. Whereas over in season 1 was just like all out aggression. I think that if that exact game was played in season 1 with like the season 1 lineup, over loses the game just because they don't get on mid half the time that they can. Because they're so frag hungry and those early over lineups that they would just C9 themselves off a mid more often than not. It was puzzling to be like, oh, they just team wiped us, so they got mid, go to the 1, and then like we'd respawn and be like, oh, they never got on mid. All right, well, I guess we can go try to cap mid then. Not anymore. No. This is the real deal, man. They are for real, and I don't know how many more years I can keep saying it. I feel like this is the season where they now are in their best shape to go potentially win a championship. I think in season 1, they were seen as one of the 2 big favorites coming into the season and going forward through the season. I think this is the first time where they look like a team that in a best of 3 against the G skill, against the TMC, against whoever, they can definitely take 2 maps and play through. I mean, season 5, we saw it against Bandits, man. They almost eliminated Bandits in season 5 before Bandits ever got to come play against us in that crazy final. They took Bandits to 3 maps. They beat Bandits on Lennon. They were very nearly beating them on both the other maps. Like, this team is scary. Scary. All right, predictions, now that I've recorded the longest. I blame this on Solitude. That's what I blame this on. This did not have to be this long, but I got caught up talking about Solitude, and then I went on a tangent. Like whose fault is this really here? Is it mine or is it Solitude's? That's the question. I might need a pee break at this point, to be honest with you guys. All right, so we're not playing this week. First of all, I'm almost tempted to just no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to finish this episode. I was going to say I'm tempted to just cut it here and then do a prediction next week. I could do that. Oh, it's so tempting. Because otherwise, what am I going to do for a Dodcast next week, right? There is none. And then, there's still going to be the little emoji coming up, Dodcast, Dodcast. I can't, Dodcast. People still want the Dodcast. So what am I going to do for the Dodcast next week? I could cut this at an hour 30, and then we could do predictions next week. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get more in-depth with predictions and Solitude and stuff next week. I just decided this right now. Life is in your hands, people. You just got to grab it by the balls. All right. Oh, no. Anyways, so yeah, that does it. That's it. That's the recap of Railroad 2. We're going to do Solitude predictions next week so that I can go pee and get an energy drink, and we can have another episode of the Dodcast. I go to Quebec tomorrow, so I'll probably be recording it not on this computer. And I won't be able to do anything movie related as well. But everybody, have a happy Easter this weekend. Get ready for the following week. New Solitude. It's going to be chaotic. Hopefully, this latest version of the map. I think the changes will help. Again, I'm not a big Solitude fan to begin with, so I'm not exactly like, oh, this is great, yay. Even as a guy who was going long, because I understood that the other half of the map sucked for everybody else. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious, right? With new maps, you get to see people kind of form the meta. How are people gonna send route wise? What's strong on this map? Is it sending bars to church? I personally think, for me, I was thinking sending the heavies over to the underpass side because there's all that close quarter stuff on the cap. So you put 2 heavies and a rifle, and then obviously the snipers, and then you just send the remaining rifles to the old double cap. That's my opinion. But obviously now that the old double cap is an actual double cap again, albeit a quick one, you might need a third guy to go that way when all is said and done. I don't know. You could no, you can't send 3 rifles there. Too many long-range engagements on the other side, so realistically, you got to send 1 heavy that way. I don't know. We'll see. There are more clever teams than I who will figure out the right way to play this version of the map. Get out there and scrim it up. Figure out if there's any bugs. Let Toxinator know. He'll be grumpy about it, but he wants to fix things, I assure you. And, yeah, everyone have a good Easter break. Don't stop playing DoD, though, because we're coming up on the end of KTP Season 7. And when KTP Season 7 ends, all that's left is to prepare for the Schmaltzy LAN. And as I have been trying to really explain to the people on my team, this LAN will be the most competitive LAN that there has been. Certainly, if you don't take into the CPLs and the WSVG, take 04, 05, and 06 out of the equation, because, to be honest, I would take the competitiveness at this LAN over WSVG as well, just because I think, objectively look at the overall skill ceiling that there was in 2006 and say a lot of the teams now would be able to hang with the best teams then. A lot of teams now. I look at that team list and the rosters, and it is a scary, scary LAN. Anyone who thinks they are winning that LAN just coming in, you're probably wrong. If you feel that way about it, you are underprepared. Period. There are going to be some scary fucking teams at that LAN. On LAN, which if you haven't played on LAN before, it is a very different beast. The game slows down a lot. There's a lot more on the line. You have to be able to really think on the fly and not just go through the motions over and over again. Yeah. Hey, if you go back and look at all the LANs in DoD history, and then you look really objectively, if you've watched enough DoD in the last few years that you're closely acquainted with how good all the players and teams on that list are, I think you will come to the same conclusion that I am right now, which is that this is the scariest LAN maybe since CPL 05, I would say. I will say CPL 05, because of the sheer number of teams and the activity level and how sharp everybody was, uh, that's the other land that I will say competitiveness wise. CPL 04, mm, that's going so far back in the game that like there were probably less than 10 players at that point. If you pulled them out of 04 and put them in DoD now, I think there are less than 10 players that would be able to step into today's game and play against a G skill, an over, a TMC, a Thunder, whatever, and be able to put up 25 to 30 kills. Just period. I'm sorry. I'm sure there are going to be people that are offended by that. I'm not saying those guys then continuing to play for the next 15 years or whatever. I'm saying you take them out of that time and how good they were and their knowledge and everything then and drop them into a game against a G skill or a T3 now. Nah. I think this LAN is going to be only really equivalent with like 05. And then because of the skill levels of the best teams there in 06, because in 06 players were starting to develop to the extent where like, guys like Brian, Ninja, Cable Guy, these are guys who just continued their ability to play forward through it. Baloo, really insane players at that point. So yeah, right after KTP 7, you got to start thinking about the LAN. I'm very excited to see how that all goes. I don't expect, I've only been to a couple LANs where I didn't go into it being like, yeah, I'm going to win this LAN. Just to be brutally honest. Most of the time, I go into LANs with a pretty good idea of where everybody's at. Not this one. I have no idea where Thunder stands for this LAN. It's going to depend a lot on where all of our activity levels and our current form is at, and then what the other teams look like in that regard too, right? Because like if we're in great form, but so is fucking G Skill and Dice and Over, I don't know where we shake out. That can come down to map vetoes and stuff like that. If we go in there in bad form, there are probably like 7 teams that will beat us there. Period. Which is very, like, it's exciting, man. It's exciting not knowing going into a LAN. I really am very, very excited for that LAN just because I think the competition level is going to be so fucking insane, man, that it'll be a really, really fun, cool time for everybody, whether you've been to a LAN before or not. I look at that team list and I'm very concerned about playing quite a few of these teams. Dice, scary as fuck, man. Like, and there are I'm sure if you didn't play during KTP Season 6 in Gold, you probably don't realize just how scary this Dice team is. And they don't even have a 6 yet, so they could get even scarier, right? Icy Hot, everyone knows how scary they are. Over, everyone knows how scary they are, right? And we're going to be in a LAN setting as well, right? So there's no like lag for Baron and Chi to have to deal with. Best Buds, they're going to be like, I can't wait to see guys like Bromley and War Within and Hopper getting to play on LAN. Clinic, these are guys who have to play with like shitty ping, not 150 ping, but shittier ping all the time. I think LAN makes a big difference for them too, right? G skill, obviously. On Soul right now, you got guys that are really good players. Who the last two going to be? Is Iorio going to be one of them potentially? That immediately makes them even scarier. But Jackson is a guy who can hard carry on LAN. We've seen how good Stamp has been for the last few seasons, just getting better and better. And then this team as well, man. Like Ian, if you don't know, Ian plays on like a 2001 computer with a mouse pad that's this big, and he gets about 40 FPS. So if you don't think Ian will be better when he's playing on even footing with everybody else, you haven't been paying attention. Chris, Corey, Cody, Matt, these are all guys who are certified LAN veteran. Okay, I guess not really Chris. He's only been to the one, but this is another guy he's a heavy who's been playing with shitty internet from Western Canada and still getting 60 plus kills a game. What do you think's going to happen when he aims at your head and clicks it and controls the recoil on LAN? You're going to die that much faster. So yeah. And then that's not like there's supposedly going to be 12 teams at least for this LAN. I don't know, man. I'm very excited for the actual playing out of this LAN because I think it's going to be insane, and I think it will be the most competitive LAN in DoD history, pound for pound. I truly believe that, which is not. It's worse for me, like I would love to be able to look at this LAN and just go like, all right, we're going to win this thing because we're going to practice more than anybody, and we have the right players to just go win this thing outright. No, I can't say that. We could win it, but I think we've got an equal or less chance than about 5 other teams here. So, very, very exciting. That's going to do it. I just got completely sidetracked because I really wanted to talk about the LAN because I haven't really talked about it on stream about how competitive this is going to be. Um, Very, very competitive, man. Do not take this LAN lightly because you will regret it if you do. I say that to all of you here and anyone else who's going to have a team. Do not take this LAN lightly, just based on what you've seen online from any of these players or teams. This is a very scary LAN. Any number, I would say just out of this 9 here, like, obviously, there's players missing from each of these teams, so it's tough to, like, really say for sure, but just about everybody can beat each other, to be honest with you. Allen is going to the LAN too, another guy who plays with shit internet online and still manages to get kills, right? Like, that's basically the whole story with Clinic. These are all guys who are generally not playing with less than like 70 ping, and now they're going to get to play with the same ping as everybody else. Whether that's 0 or 15 when it comes to DoD. I mean, I've played at a DoD LAN where everybody had 25 ping. The point is everybody has the same ping, right? So yeah, very, very, very excited for this LAN, and excited to see how KTP Season 7 shakes out. G-Skill over final, potentially, man. I want to see that game in a best of 3. I want to see over make it to the fucking finals, man. They are now the longest tenured team in KT. No, Clinic and Over have both played every season. Technically, Over was called Fart Finder in the one season, but it was just Over, mixed with Typical. But yeah, Over, and I mean, Clinic has made it to multiple. Well, they won a final. Did they make it to another final? No, I think they lost in the semis. But yeah, so Clinic has gotten their championship as one of the 2 longest tenured teams. Over deserves to get to a championship too, and I feel like this is the season for them. Lots of stuff to figure out on the lower side of the bracket as well. There's still multiple spots up for grabs. Easy Company, I think, is guaranteed the 1 seed now. Correct me if I'm wrong. 6-0, there's 2 weeks left. Okay, so not necessarily. Not necessarily. So a DoD team. So assuming they both win these 2 games, and then a DoD team plays against... No, they still wouldn't get it then. Ooh, wait, actually, hold on. So if they play each other after winning their games this week... No shot. No shot. Easy Company has the point differential by too much. No shot. Easy Company would have to lose this week and in the optional rank game to get knocked out of first place. Highly unlikely. So more than likely, Easy Company is 1, and then it depends on how the ranked matchups work out, like who plays each other. If you see Expired play against a DoD team in that week, again, assuming wins for everybody, who does Expired play here? No-Go, that's a tough game. But just assuming a win there for Expired, they could leapfrog a DoD team if they played them there. Because then it would be 1-1 in the series, but Expired would probably have the point differential tiebreaker, so they could move up to 2 there. No-Go playing against Expired this week is a big one as well. That's got to be the match of the week, because if No-Go can beat Expired, they jump into the 3 seed. However, if Carr beat Best Buds, actually what would happen here, if No-Go beats Expired and Carr beats Best Buds, Expired would drop way down here. It would go Easy, a DoD team, Carr, No-Go, Expired. So there's a lot of movement that can happen on the lower side. On the upper side, obviously Over and G-Skill tied. Who does Over play? Clinic. G-Skill plays Volvo. So hypothetically, if they both win those games, they could play each other. in the optional ranked week, right? And then they would winner of that would get first place, basically. Because then the whichever team loses would have 2 losses, so there wouldn't be a need for a tiebreaker. The tiebreaker would then come if TMC managed to win this week and the rank game. Depending on who they play, of course, because like if something happened where we played against over G skill, then there would be less movement that could be had, and it would completely nullify what I was talking about for the first seed, anyway. So yeah, a lot of interesting storylines to play out the rest of the season. And once again, because I've tried to sign off 4 times now, enjoy your Easter. That's it. I'm not saying any more. I love you guys. Aw. Peace.